family. Today, we are going to talk about a private topic that many people are curious about. Have you ever wondered what happened to those girls who agreed to their boyfriend's requests for anal sex? In order to tell you this thoroughly, I took great pains to find 10 sisters who had personal experiences and listened to their sincere words. Today, I will tell you all without reservation. Let me first talk about Xiaomin's story. She told me that when her boyfriend suddenly asked for anal sex, her head buzzed, and she was completely confused, thinking what kind of weird request was this. But at that time, the two were in love, and she was shy and embarrassed to refuse directly, so she agreed without thinking. As a result, the process was simply a nightmare. She described it as if there was a fire burning in her body, and she was sweating from the pain. After the end, Xiaomin was furious at her boyfriend and scared him so much that he dared not breathe and kept apologizing. Since then, Xiaomin has been afraid of sex for a long time, and a rift has arisen between them because of this. The two of them communicated well later, and her boyfriend also expressed his understanding of her and never mentioned this matter again, and their relationship gradually warmed up. The anus is not like the vaginas. It has true elasticity and no natural lubrication function. If you force it, it will be torn and injured, so Xiao Min is in so much pain. Let's talk about Xiao Li's story. Xiao Li is more open-minded. She thought that occasionally doing something new might add some interest to the dull life of the couple. She and her husband have been married for several years, and their lives are a bit dull. When her husband proposed anal sex, she hesitated for a while but decided to try it. But when it really came to that time, she found that she couldn't stand it at all. And after the incident, she began to be constipated, and she rolled around in bed for several days. She went to see a doctor, and the doctor said that this was because anal sex might damage the muscles and nerves of the anus, and the defecation function was affected. Xiao Li regretted it very much and told her husband that she would never play such a dangerous game again. The husband also knew that his proposal hurt Xiao Li, and he was considerate to her afterwards. You see, sex life is not something you can fool around with. You have to understand your body's structure and tolerance first, otherwise you will suffer. On Xiao Mei, her experience is even more tortuous. Xiao Mei and her boyfriend were in a long-distance relationship. After finally meeting each other, her boyfriend proposed anal sex. Xiao Mei thought it was not easy to get together, so she gritted her teeth and agreed. As a result, a sharp pain came, followed by bleeding. The two of them were so scared that their faces turned pale and they rushed to the hospital. The doctor checked and found that the anus was severely torn and needed stitches. This made Xiao Mei suffer terribly. During the days in the hospital, she couldn't stop crying because of the pain. Her boyfriend was also regretful and took care of her without taking off his clothes. After this incident, Xiao Mei's feelings for her boyfriend were a little shaken. She felt that her boyfriend didn't take her feelings seriously. Sister Xiaoyan's story is also very interesting. Sister Howlin has been married for more than 10 years. Her husband didn't know where he learned these strange tricks. One day, he suddenly asked Sister Shaolin about anal sex. Sister Shaolin firmly disagreed at first, but she couldn't resist her husband's soft and hard persuasion and finally gave in. But Sister Shaolin is not a naive person. She checked a lot of information on the internet in advance, bought special lubricants, and did psychological preparation for several days. Although she was still a little uncomfortable during the process, her situation was better than the previous sisters. However, Sister Shaolin said that she would never try it a second time, and she always felt that this matter violated her normal concept. You see, if you really want to try this special sexual behavior for some reason, you must prepare in advance, such as using lubricants, which can really reduce pain and reduce the risk of injury to a certain extent. Let's talk about Xiao Yi. Xiao Li and her boyfriend are both people who pursue excitement, so when her boyfriend proposed anal sex, Xiao Li agreed without blinking. But they also knew that this matter was risky, so they made a lot of preparations in advance, such as watching popular science videos to understand the correct posture and precautions. But even so, Xiao Li was injured during the process, but the injury was relatively minor. She thought it might be because she was not well prepared or the two did not cooperate well. Later, Xiao Li and her boyfriend decided to return to normal sex life. After all, health is the first priority. A's experience is simply infuriating and funny. A's and her husband had just married, and her husband proposed anal sex. A's thought it was a normal thing between husband and wife, so she foolishly agreed. As a result, she was in so much pain that she scolded her husband after the end. The husband then realized that Azen knew nothing about this and quickly gave her a popular science. Later, Azen learned that this was not a common sexual lifestyle for couples, and the risks were not small. Xiao Qin and her boyfriend had been together for many years and have always had a good relationship. When her boyfriend proposed anal sex, Xiao Qin was not very happy, but in order to satisfy her boyfriend's curiosity, she still tried it. As a result, during the process, Xiao Qin felt that her dignity seemed to be severely stepped on. She was not physically uncomfortable, but more psychologically unacceptable. After that, Xiao Qin and her boyfriend had a long talk. The boyfriend also realized his mistake and promised Xiaoqiu and that he would never ask for it again. The relationship between the two was slowly restored. This also reminds us that in sex life, the psychological feelings of both parties are equally important. We can't just think about ourselves and throw our partner's feelings to the wind. A Fang is a very independent and opinionated woman. When her husband proposed anal sex, she directly refused. But her husband didn't give up and kept pestering her. Feng seriously told her husband about the harm of this behavior from physical health to psychological impact and analyzed it clearly. After listening to her, her husband finally gave up the idea. Feng said that in fact, many times, as long as the reason is made clear, the other half will still understand and respect us. This also shows that when facing unreasonable sexual demands from our partners, we must bravely say, no, Xiaohui is miserable. Kuai and her boyfriend tried anal sex and got infected. She thought it might be because of poor hygiene. After all, there are bacteria all around the anus. After that, Xiaohui went to the hospital for a long time, spent a lot of money, and suffered a lot. She regretted and said that she would not have tried it so impulsively if she had known. From the perspective of sexual health, there are many bacteria in the anus. If you don't pay attention to cleaning after anal sex, the risk of infection will rise sharply. Therefore, hygiene issues are of paramount importance in sex life, especially in this special sexual behavior. Finally, it was Ji. After Ji and her husband tried anal sex, the relationship between the two became a little strange. Ji always had a knot in her heart, and her husband felt guilty because he saw Ji was uncomfortable. Later, after a long period of mutual understanding, the two slowly let go of the matter and regained their previous intimacy. This also shows that it is not terrible to encounter problems in sex life. The key is that both parties should communicate honestly, unface, and solve them together. Family members from the experiences of these 10 sisters, we can see that women who agree to men's anal sex requests have a variety of situations later, but most of them are not very good. This also reminds us that in sex life, we must respect our own and our partner's wishes. Learn more about sex and protect your physical and mental health. If you encounter similar situations, you must think twice before acting. Well, today's sharing ends here. Welcome to Leave a Message for Discussion. See you next time. Bye.